Ah, there you are. I was expecting you. Let us begin.
Katerina is well known amongst the kingdoms of men. They are known as a jovial and carefree people, with a fearsome pride and a distinctive style of armour. Their suits are oversized and boast large, curved segments, which has led many of the inhabitants of the other lands to refer to them as Onion Knights, though this is not a title they approve of. Known throughout the land for their fearlessness, they are one of the only kingdoms that is not thought to be battered by the undead curse. Yet, in the land of Lordran, there is one such knight. Suffering from the curse, he journeyed to this faraway land in the latest of his set of adventures, seeking danger. Leaving behind his wife and daughter, his first encounter with the chosen undead is at the gates of Sen's fortress, where he sits, contemplating how best to tackle the problem before him. Siegmeyer is a proud man, not used to relying on others for assistance. Wielding his trusty Zweihander and safe within his onion armour, he has yet to find a foe that could best him. But for all his bravery, he is never shown to be the brightest, so he would rather sit and procrastinate than attempt to open the gates himself.
Oh, forgive me. I was absorbed in thought. I am Siegmeyer of Katerina. Quite honestly, I've run flat up against a wall, or a gate, I should say. The thing just won't budge, no matter how long I wait. And oh, have I waited. So here I sit, in quite a pickle, weighing my options, so to speak.
Once the bells have tolled and the gates of the fortress open, the stoic Onion Knight advances. Unfortunately, it isn't long before another obstacle blocks his path. An opponent that cannot be bested with a mighty arm, but with quick feet.
Oh, forgive me. I was absorbed in thought. Quite honestly, I've run flat up against a wall, or a ball to be precise. I'm afraid I'm a bit too plump to be outrunning those things. So here I sit in quite a pickle, weighing my options, so to speak.
Alas, for all the tools in his arsenal, agility is clearly not amongst them. Luckily for Siegmeyer though, his path is not his alone, and once again, the chosen undead is there to help ease his journey. From here, he seems to have little trouble overcoming the rest of the fortress and forging onwards. He is next encountered in one of the towers of Anor Londo, once again faced with an insurmountable obstacle.
Ah, you again. Let me guess. Were you repelled by the Silver Knights? Oh, don't be ashamed. 'Tis the fate of vanguards like you and I. I'll think of something. We can overcome this together. This is quite a fix. We'll need another 3, no, maybe 5 volleys. Quite a fix indeed.
This situation is different from the others though, as this situation is the first time we see Siegmeyer begin to doubt his strength. Facing the trio of Silver Knights is clearly a feat he feels to be far beyond a single warrior. And so, when the chosen undead clears the path for him, he is grateful, but also hurt. The Knights of Katerina are not known for cowardice, after all. With the gift of a ring, Siegmeyer and the chosen undead part ways again, albeit only for a short time. Descending from Anor Londo and returning to the Firelink Shrine, the chosen undead once again comes face to face with their Katerinan companion. Upon learning that the chosen undead was the one to open the gates to Sen's fortress, Siegmeyer teaches him a miracle, one foreign to the way of white, possibly even an art unique to Katerina. But his lust for adventure will not allow him to linger long by the fire, and his path crosses the chosen undeads again in the swamps of Blighttown. Preparation is key for all warriors, and failure to prepare is the end of many a would-be hero. Stranded amidst the toxic waters, Siegmeyer must once again ask for help from his friend in the form of the purple moss, known to neutralize poison from the bog.
Oh ho! Excuse me, I was so absorbed in thought I just drifted away. You see, I'm actually in a bit of a fix. I've made it this far, but I'm short on antidote moss for the trip back. By my knighthood, I'm ashamed to ask, but can you spare a few scraps of moss? Fantastic! Thank you. A saint you are. This Knight of Katerina expresses his deepest gratitude. I shall not forget this. Please, take this, a symbol of my appreciation. Well, our fates do seem entwined, don't they? Perhaps this, too, is the will of Lord Gwyn.
His pride will not allow him to take this freely, however, handing over his trusty shield in return. The pierced shield is another symbol of Katerina, wielded by many of their knights in combat. With a large spike in its centre, it is capable of both a sturdy defence and a powerful strike of its own. It is said that Katerinan armour is designed as it is to compensate for the shield being poorly suited to parrying blows, the curves in the armour instead deflecting blades so the wearer can focus on an overwhelming offence. With his new supplies, Siegmeyer sets off again, deeper into the bowels of Lordran, down to the fabled city of Lost Izalith. It is here that he has his final encounter with his newfound ally. In the depths of the city, Siegmeyer stands atop a precipice, both literally and figuratively. Below him, a pack of Chaos Eaters jostle, standing guard over a few lost treasures. Upon seeing his companion, he is compelled to prove himself, not wanting once more to be shown up by the chosen undead. But this battle is too much for him, especially without his trusty shield to guard him. Without the intervention of the chosen undead, he will slay the beasts before succumbing to his wounds, passing along his ring before fading away. However, were the chosen undead to slay the creatures alone, Siegmeyer would be broken, his self-esteem crushed as he resigns himself to failure. He will still pass on the ring, but part ways, never to be seen again. And so it is, through cooperation, that the two great warriors may triumph victorious and, more importantly, alive. In this case, Siegmeyer and the chosen undead will part on good terms as he seeks to continue his journey. But while his journey has taken all of his focus, another adventurer from Katerina arrived in the land of the old lords. Wandering the grounds of the Duke's archives, a giant golden golem patrols, but it holds a secret. Upon smashing this crystalline creature open, a maiden wearing the familiar onion-shaped armour emerges. Sieglind is the daughter of Siegmeyer, driven to follow him to Lordran despite not being undead herself, bound to deliver a message for his ears alone. Thanking the chosen undead for their assistance, she asks after her father before hurrying off on his trail. Encountering the chosen undead once more at Firelink Shrine, she learns of her father's destination down below and sets off once more in the footsteps of the man who has always been walking away from her. But this time, she catches up to her father in the fiery city of Izalith. It is here that she imparts her mother's final words upon her father before leaving to return to the Firelink Shrine, whilst her father leaves on his final journey. In the deepest reaches of Lordran, where the eternal dragons once lived, they meet for a final time. But this was no joyous reunion, for Siegmeyer had lost his purpose. He had proven his strength not only to himself, but to his friend, the chosen undead. He had repaid the debt he had owed, and then had learned of the death of his wife from his daughter, leaving him empty. As we know, an undead that has no purpose loses their mind, becoming hollow and attacking anything in their path. And so it was that Siegmeyer's tale ended at the point of his daughter's blade. The simple knight of Katarina journeyed the length of Lordran, and in fulfilling his purpose, he lost himself.
Oh, Father, dear Father.
Now go. Whatever you do, do not crack and go hollow, lest my time spent on you be wasted.